we all call chainmail from the Victorians, but mail pretty much means the word chain or mesh in Norman French. So in effect you're naming it twice by calling it chainmail. So the male hover covers his body and arms, and it's flexible. So you can move in it, but having flexible armour, again, you can easily break bones where they're at the elbows, wrists, hands, knees. So you try and protect everything as best you can with this male armour on. Also extra padding as well. So we're pretty much already walking around today in a sleeping bag. All weather sleeping bag and some woolen clothes and a linen shirt, and then we have to put metal armour on top of that as well. It gets very hot and very heavy. To combat the heat from heating up our armour, we will wear a surcoat, which is I'm wearing. I'm the Gold Knight and Thomas is the Green Knight. And those surcoats show colours, but also the covering protects the armour from getting over hot in the sun. And also with a helmet over your head, nobody will recognise you. So what we have is our coats of arms, our colours. We have different colours because we are different men and we need to be identified. And this is the birth of heraldry, which we all know today, which we have kings and queens have all these lovely patterns, but a lot of the nobility would have their own shields and colours so they can be identified in battle. Again, it's confusing in battle. If you get lost in all that pell-mell, if you need to find your lord again, you look for his banner and you can work your way back to where the banner is and you know roughly where your lord is. Excuse me. Right, now, the next bit, we need to start protecting our head. So we have a padded coif. Again, hot on your head, but again it absorbs blows. When you get hit on the head, you don't want to get a headache basically. And we do hit each other on the head, so you'll see a lot of that in the combat today. So this is good protection for us. So it'll go on his head, and then the coif goes over the top. And the coif is a male hood, and that again stops cuts to the throat, because when he's wearing a helmet he might be moving his head back a bit. He doesn't want any fleshy bits exposed that can be easily cut, and he might bleed, which is not very nice. There we go, the male coif. The little flappy bit, which I also have, is called a bent tail. It means you can pull on your hood, and if you want to get some air you can unfasten it. Get a bit of a breather, talk as well, because once it's fastened in place it's a bit hard to move your jaw and speak as loud as I can. Also, once it's all in place, you're going to don a helmet on top too. So Thomas is wearing what we call a kettle hat. It's got a nice rim round it, perfect for visibility. You saw us all wearing our great helms in the archery this morning. That was so we didn't get shot in the face by arrows, but some knights do opt for wearing kettle helmets just like the sergeant here, or what I'm going to be wearing is a skull cap because you want to be able to breathe and see your opponent during the combat. If you're wearing a great helm, the only visibility you have is like looking through the letterbox while you're waiting for your Amazon order because you're really looking forward to that book that you're going to read. Alright, and you'll be breathing back on yourself as well. All that hot air is going to make you feel a little bit dizzy after a while, so we need plenty of fresh air, plenty of gulps of air, but the problem is we've got our faces exposed. Very easy for a mace or something to be hit into the face. So a better protection sometimes is better for you, but the visibility is a sacrifice that you might want to make. Right, so adjustments must be made. If your arm is not fitting properly, a coif might slip and it'll blind you in one eye or both eyes sometimes, so you'll find it difficult to fight then. Something might be sticking into your head like a loose link, might graze you, and if you that gets hit, and 9 times out of 10 it normally does because of aggravating you already, then that can cause broken limbs or injury as well. You've got to carry all this weight for at least, again, half an hour or all day like we are walking around in our armour. Sir Thomas had the advantage of being able to slip out of his armour quicker than I could, because mine's pretty much all stuck in place now until we're finished. The sword. Now the sword is not the most important weapon a knight would have. The sword is his last resort, as cavalry knights would use a lance first, 12-foot ash shaft with a killing point on the end, and then after that, if that breaks in the melee, he would use a mace or an axe as shafted weapon, and that shaft might break as well during the battle because he's hitting quite hard. Yep. So his last resort is his sword. The sword of our period is not all sharp. There's parts of it will be sharp, which you can kill an unarmoured opponent. But most of the time, when it's a knight against knight, they're so heavily armoured that all it is using it as a bludgeoning weapon. They're just hitting each other until somebody finally gives up and goes down, and that is where you can get your ransom. And it goes back into his scabbard, and it has a fancy, fine sword belt, decorated, because he is a knight and he likes to show off his wealth, especially at a tournament. Okay, that goes round his waist. That's just there in case he needs it. The knight would also carry a shield with him as another layer of defence. The shield in our period is what they have called a heater shield, because I think it looks the same shape as an iron, that you iron your clothes with. The larger ones on the Bayer tapestry that the Normans used, kite shields, are very good for the period because their horses were smaller, a bit lighter and more nimble, so they could move the horse to protect both sides. We're wearing more armour than the early Normans of 1066. We're heavier. That means we need a heavier horse called a destrier. Taller, muscly and vicious. It was trained how to bite and kick and also nudge into other horses and people during the battle. And that shield, you can use that then for manoeuvrability that goes over the back of the horse's neck, and you can move yourself pretty much more than you would move the horse. It has mufflers, which are, like me, attached to the rest of my arms, is your hand protection. One of the best places to attack an opponent is break his hands. If you can't hold anything, he won't be able to fight back. So to have hand protection is very important during a fight. Plus, you can be a skilled knight and you'll be able to parry lots of different things, but sometimes a glancing blow might break a knuckle or injure a finger. The shield goes on, as you can see. Sir Thomas is a left-handed fighter, which makes him a little bit of a confusing opponent to fight if you're normally used to fighting right-hand. So he has an advantage of being left-handed. So he's got his mace with pushing and smashing shields, crushing bones, and also crushing helmets around people's heads so they get stuck on your head and you have some problems getting it off. We have a story about a tournament knight called William Marshall, and he was in a tournament which he won, and somebody wanted to give him the grand prize of a pike, big fish, and when they eventually found him, his head was on the blacksmith's anvil as they were trying to prise the helmet from off his head. Right. Still survived up until the age of 80, and he also won for us the Battle of Lincoln against Prince Louis, the French prince who came in to invade England at the time to get rid of bad King John, and then he stayed around to hope that the barons of the north would stay loyal to him, and then he would be king of England. But we didn't want that. We wanted the young Henry III, our great and noble king, to become king instead, but he was only 10 years old. So the barons who were loyal to him and the soldiers, especially to William Marshall, all rallied to Lincoln to get rid of bad Prince Louis and put young Henry III on the throne, and William Marshall became a regent of England and looked after him until he died on the 19th of May in 1217. Right. We are going to do some fighting for you next. So you have to remember that when we're out there fighting, all the weight that we're carrying while we're fighting, so if we look tired, please forgive us, we normally are. And if we get injured, normally, if we are, we can hopefully shrug it off. Alright, because we are going to be fighting for your entertainment, so we'd like you to also encourage us to fight better. So you need to cheer for your knights, boo the ones that you don't like, and also give us a few rounds of applause if we do some good hits or something that you think, oh, that was good. You can give us a cheer or a round of applause. So thank you very much, everybody. So hopefully you'll enjoy the first round of the combat section, which is 1:30 at the back of the castle there, and enjoy the rest of the day.